college football week 4. Best bets are on the way. We're going to talk all the big games on Saturday, as well as give out our favorite picks of the weekend. It's Austin joined by Logan. Logan, I hope you had a wonderful birthday weekend, but we're back to deliver some winners. Now, what did we not deliver? Well, Logan didn't deliver any winners last week. He went a big 0 for 4. But you know what? We'll cut him a break. He served a lot of birthday cake. It was his birthday. We'll cut him a break. If he goes 0 for 4 today, or on Saturday, you guys have to come up with a punishment in the comment section. Logan will do it in the next video if he somehow goes 0 for 4 again.
Within reason.
Within reason. He cannot shave his head. He cannot do that. But I went 3-1. Logan, I said, man, I'm wearing all black for you because you got your worst week of the season out. It's funeral for your worst week. I had my funeral last week when I went 0 for 4 the week before, and I had to bounce back 3 in 1 week. I'm expecting the same from you. But let's dive into the games. As always, they're all timestamped down below. If you want a similar video for the NFL, we've already posted it. We go through every single NFL game. I will link it down below in the pinned comment in the description. Go check it out. Let's dive into the first game we're going to cover, Logan. As USC, the 11th ranked team, heads into the Big House, 18th ranked overall. Michigan Wolverines, who have a new QB under center. USC slight favorites, -5.5, over under 44.5. Logan, what is the play? I know you don't have an official one in here, but if you had to bet something, what would you bet?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's picking a side in this one's kind of hard because we don't really know what we're getting with Michigan's offense. So to me, it's either USC laying the points on the road, which could be a little dicey, or it's an under. I mean, it could be an under look in this one just because I don't really know what we're going to see from Michigan's offense. I mean, Davis Warren was terrible. That offense was just non-existent.
Can't be worse, right? Can't be worse than him.
It really is hard to be worse. So maybe you could say, well, by that logic, Logan, maybe we go over. As you can tell, guys, I'm waffling on this one. It's not my favorite game on the slate, but I don't really see an angle to blindly back Michigan with Alex Orji. I don't think it's necessarily time to blindly put our money on the Wolverines yet. The Trojans, I mean, Miller Moss, that dude's legit. I like a lot what I'm seeing from Miller Moss. He's strong under pressure. 10th in passing yards, 337 yards per game. Michigan is on the downfall. USC is on the come up, and I'd argue it's Trojans in this one. And I probably would side with with USC laying the points on the road.
Honestly, if I were to actually take a peek at this game and bet it, I don't have an official pick here. I actually kind of like the over. I feel like a lot of people have been expecting USC to go over in their games, hammering overs and Miller Moss and all that, and they haven't. They have yet to go over in any of their games. I think this could be one that has sneaky points. Like you talked about Alex Orji under center, he can't possibly be worse than Warren. I mean, I guess he could, but it'd be pretty dang bad, and I'm pretty sure the Wolverine fans will be booing after the end of the first quarter. I think they're able to put up points. I think they're able to run the football in USC. I think USC can put up some points too. 44.5, there's not a lot of wiggle room with a low total like that. I think we could see some points from either of these two sides, but obviously not my favorite lean here. I've had to bet the points. I feel like taking Michigan's a little, I don't know. I have no good lean on that spread, but I do kind of like the over. Let us know what you guys like down below, as well as what Logan should do if he goes 0 for 4. Next game, we got the Utah on the road taking on Oklahoma State. This is a game with some injury question marks. Cam Rising, the big notable one, the Utah quarterback. As of recording this late Thursday night, we have no idea if he's going to be starting. Given how the line has moved, Logan, it feels like he's not going to be out there because Utah was 3-point favorites. Now they're nearly 3-point underdogs, 52.5-point total. I personally lean the under. It almost made my official card, but Cam Rising's, his status really, we don't know as of recording. So if he plays, I obviously don't really love the under as much, but if he doesn't play, I do like the under. Is there anything you looked at in this game, side or total wise?
I think I'd be on Oklahoma State if I were to have to pick in this game. I think really what Oklahoma State needs to do is get Ollie Gordon back involved. I mean, he has not looked good this year. It's time to feed him. I do like what I've seen from Alan Bowman. I mean, if he can take care of the ball, they're in good shape. And as we've talked about, if you're not healthy, if you're not getting continuity with that offense, I'm not backing you. I'm not putting my hard-earned money on Utah, just kind of hoping Cam Rising is out there and looking good. Because we know what when he's out there at 100% in rhythm, he's one of the top passing quarterbacks in the country. But what I do know is Oklahoma State should have no problem putting up points in this one. Yes, Utah's defense is formidable, best defense they're probably going to face so far. But I still think they are able to generate some of those explosive passing plays and running plays that we saw against Arkansas, which kind of led that crazy wild game. I think they get Ollie Gordon involved in this one, and I think the line flipping and flopping in this one is just What feels comfortable is taking Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Give me Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think if I had to bet either side, even Cam Rising's injury or not, I still kind of like Oklahoma State. You talked on their offense has been a little bit better than Utah's. That's where I would lean. Over under, I have no idea. That's an interesting game. Next game, we're moving on to TCU traveling to take on SMU. TCU, they lost a heartbreaker last week, as I would know as a UCF alumni. We were cooked. We were down like 31-7, and we stormed back, basically only running the football in the second half with some clutch throws from KJ Jefferson, and we managed to escape out of there with a W. They're going on the road to SMU, slight favorites here. Logan, is there anything you like in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think I'm going to be a little contrarian here. I'm going to take SMU. I think they win this game outright. I do not like what I saw from TCU against UCF. And it really was, I could have a whole laundry list of reasons what I didn't like from TCU, because as you did, I watched a lot of that game. I mean, what I like from TCU is Savion Williams. Love that guy, one of the best receivers in the country. But what I don't like is the defense was giving up. They were just getting gashed. When they had to make stops, they couldn't get off the field. And yes, SMU's offense has some question marks. Of course they do. You know, Preston Stone wasn't really the option there. Kevin Jennings is supposed to get the start for SMU. So a little bit of a change up there with SMU's quarterback. But I also didn't, I didn't like TCU's ability or lack thereof to run the damn ball. I mean, I picked a player prop. You could say, oh, bad read, whatever. They were throwing it every single down, and I was like, if you want to be one-dimensional against UCF, that's on you, because they blew away they choked away that lead because they just wouldn't run the ball. I don't like what I see from TCU. Give me SMU. I think they win that game outright.
Yeah, I lean SMU as well, but I do like the over in that game. Not an official play, but I do like the over. I mean, you talked about TCU's defense. I don't know what the heck they were doing last week. They had a great first half. No adjustments apparently made in the second half. They just got ran up and down on. SMU, they want to run the football. If you face a team that can stop the run, not a great time for their offense, but with Jennings under helm, he's a dual threat guy. I think to be able to move up and down the field. In fact, we got a pick 'em price. I think they think it's more of a back and forth game. Kind of whatever team has the ball last is probably the winner. I like this over 58.5 if I had to bet it. And our final game we're going to recap is going to be where the host of College Game Day is, as we go out to Oklahoma, where they play host to the number 6th overall and ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Over under, you're sitting at 57.5. Tennessee Volunteers minus 7.5 in this game, Logan. I have an official play, so I'm going to let you talk about this game, and then I'll give out my first official play of the video. What did you look at in this game? Side, total, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you're rolling with. I have a feeling I know where you're going, but personally, I will be on Oklahoma plus the points in this one. I'm not really interested in backing the Volunteers on the road. I mean, yes, Nico, I'm not going to try to say his last name right now under pressure, but he's been great at quarterback for Tennessee. I mean, he's one of the more elite quarterbacks we've seen so far this year. But can this Oklahoma defense contain him? I think they can. And if you do, you're getting a touchdown plus a hook in this one. I really do think this is a one possession type game. This is a huge step up in competition for Tennessee, because I'd argue they really haven't faced anyone. I mean, NC State was that's not a good team at all. Now you're going on the road against an Oklahoma team they have this game circled, because this is like a prove you belong in the SEC. You can hang around with the big boys in this one. I would not be shocked at all if Oklahoma won this game outright. I do like what I see from Jackson Arnold. He's a dual threat kind of guy. He's a leading passer and rusher. I mean, I like what I see from Oklahoma in this one. Could be a little bit contrarian, because I know all the evidence is pointing to you take Tennessee in that explosive offense, but I still think a defensive-minded coach like on Oklahoma, give me Oklahoma plus the points.
Yeah, and I'll segue into my favorite, not my favorite pick, but one of my favorite picks of the weekend. And I'm taking the under in this game, Logan, at 57.5. For some of the points that you made, this will be the first real competition that we've seen Tennessee face. You do see Josh Heupel return into his old stomping grounds where he won a national title. So maybe we have a little bit of emotions there, and I'm sure he'll be asked about it 3 million times this week leading up to Saturday. But also look at these two offenses. You talked about Jackson Arnold. I think he's solid, but you look at his yards per attempt, very low. He did help me out last week. I took the over in the Oklahoma Tulane game, I believe. He's just not a guy that stretches the field, and sometimes that's great for an under here. And I think if you're looking at Oklahoma, I don't think they want to get into a shootout against Tennessee. You get into a shootout, that plays right into their bread and butter. You're going up and down the field. We know Josh Heupel, obviously ex-UCF coach. I watched a ton of his games. Very similar offense he's running with Tennessee. A lot of fast pace. You're moving the ball up and down the field, taking shots. And obviously Nico Iamaleava, hopefully I pronounced that right. This will be his first real start on the road. And you look at the games he's played, Chattanooga, NC State, who really had no competition after the first quarter, and Kent State. It's been a bunch of nobodies for the most part. You get a difficult matchup against Oklahoma, a team that actually tries on defense. I think this is one where we see slower offenses out the gate, and hopefully you don't see as many long touchdowns, which Tennessee's been able to do plentiful of this season. I think it's a good spot where Oklahoma's defense shows up. I don't have a lot of confidence in their offense to be able to have some gashing plays, which really, if you have a 57.5 under, those 70-yard touchdowns really screw you. I think it's going to be long, methodical drives from Oklahoma, 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock. If a couple of those end with a field goal, I think we have a good spot at cashing that under 57.5. So that's my first pick of the weekend. But Logan, throwing it to you for your first official pick. Where are you going?
Yeah, as you mentioned, this is the get back. This is the prove that last week was a fluke, because truly, I mean, the picks were awful from me last week. So I need a big bounce back in a big way. What's my first pick going to be? I'm taking Houston plus 3.5 on the spread. Houston's defense has been a juggernaut the last 2 weeks, allowing one sustained touchdown drive to Oklahoma and coming within 68 seconds of shutting out Rice. I like what I'm seeing from Houston. They're limiting opponents to 3.4 yards per carry on the ground, and its passing defense 14th in the nation, just under 124 yards per game. And what I like a lot about this matchup too is Cincinnati's defense has not been on the same level as Houston. And I think when you're getting the field goal plus the hook in this one, you're definitely wanting to see an advantage there. I'm seeing a defensive advantage for Houston. Cincinnati's defense, we got to remember what the epic collapse against Pitt. I mean, Pitt, good offensive team, obviously, but Cincinnati did not look all that great against Miami of Ohio either. I really think in this one, Cincinnati's going to be neutralized, because I look at Cincinnati's strength, it's their offense. I think Houston sort of cancels that out. And can Houston's offense go up and move the ball up and down the field on Cincinnati's what I would call lackluster defense? I definitely think so. Big 12 action proved to be a different animal for Cincinnati as they lost every contest except one in this one. So I really do think Houston is the play in this one. Field goal plus the hook, short spread in this one. Maybe you lean Cincinnati just if you're looking record by record, but I lean Houston plus 3.5 in this one. But Austin, what's going to be your second pick?
Yeah, I got a spread here. I like to do a couple totals and then a spread pick. This one's going to be one that I don't think a lot of people will love, but I think it's a winner. Purdue plus 5.5. The Boilermakers on the road in Corvallis taking on Oregon State. Now these are two teams that, as Logan knows, and he learned the hard way, Oregon State got smoked last week, and so did Purdue. Actually, the scene of the crime for two of Logan's losers, as he took the first half under in the Notre Dame-Purdue game, and I think Notre Dame had 49 in the first half, so that didn't hit. Then Oregon State got absolutely smoked by 35 by the Oregon Ducks. This is a spot I like for Purdue to keep this one close, if not win outright. I'm just not a big believer in Oregon State. I think their first 2 weeks, they played some really bad teams, then they faced an Oregon team that still feels like hasn't really found its groove 100%. Looked like they did against Oregon State, but I think that goes to show Oregon State's not a great team. Purdue, you could argue the same, though. You'd be like, Austin, they just lost by 59 to Notre Dame. You're telling me this team's going to go on the road now and cover by 5.5? Yeah, I think they will. Hudson Card had one of his worst games ever. I think he's a lot better than what he showed last week. And I really do think Purdue has the better QB here. I don't have a lot of faith in Oregon State's QB and their offense. And ultimately, I think if they're able to stop the run, Purdue is, I think we can absolutely, they could win this game. I mean, Boilermakers, their offense is going to be a lot of Hudson Card and a lot of running the football, which I think they can do against Oregon State. And I think they got a good chance at walking away with a victory here. We look at Oregon State's offense, not a lot coming to it. Purdue literally could not stop the run last weekend. So if they can do that, force Oregon State into some third and long, second and long, stuff like that, I feel like their defense will have a much better showing than what they did last weekend. I really do like the Purdue Boilermakers. I'm not going to get too cute, diving into a bunch of different stats. I love them plus 5.5. I can even sprinkle on the money line. I think they have a chance at winning that game out in Oregon. But Logan, I'm going to you for another pick. What you got?
Yeah, I'm laying a favorite in this one. I'm taking Boston College minus 6.5. I like this one a lot because if you look at these two teams, yes, Michigan State is 3-0, but look at who they played. They played Maryland, FAU, and a blowout of an FCS Prairie View. So a couple of those games were actually pretty close in that one. Bill O'Brien is, I can't say enough good things about him and what he's kind of done with Boston College. He's given them an identity as they're rushing for 285 yards per game. That's 8th best in the country. And we know where a lot of that production comes from. It comes from the dual threat quarterback, Tommy Castellanos. That guy he's not an elite passer. He can move the chains passing, but he definitely is a guy that's looking to run first. And you know what? I think he's going to find a lot of success against a Boston College defense Boston College's defense is also going to have his back. I think if we look at this one, Sparty, 101st in scoring offense, 73rd in rushing yards per game. That's not good. These two teams stack up completely different. The identities of these two teams are completely different as well. Boston College has an identity with Bill O'Brien and Castellanos. I think Boston College gets this win, and I think they get the easy cover. I mean, you're laying 6.5. That's not a crazy number to ask them to win by a touchdown. I could see this easily being a 2-score game. Boston College is overachieving. Obviously, they suffered a loss in Missouri. That's a good Missouri team, but I still like Boston College laying the touchdown as my second pick. But Austin, you got another one. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to wrap up my card with what I would argue to be my favorite straight bet that I have given out so far. I really like the first two. This is probably my favorite one out of the three. So if you're looking for one to tail, this would be it. It's Memphis taking on Navy, and I'm taking the under 49.5 in this game at -115 on FanDuel. I'm going to keep it short and simple here. Memphis going on the road to take on Navy. We know what Navy wants to do. They want to run the football. This season, 28 pass attempts, 104 rush attempts. It's good old Navy football. It's what they want to do, run the football. However, tough matchup here against Memphis. This season, 11th in the nation in rushing yards per attempt, just 2.4. Very stingy at stopping the run. Now, I'm not saying they shut out Navy. Navy's going to find ways to get it going. But what I do think is that, hey, maybe you'll see Navy be able to move up the field a little bit. It's not like they're going to have 1st and 10 and just have 15-yard gains all down the field where it's a quick drive. Instead, I think it's, some 3rd and 2s. You're just converting those ground and pound type 8-minute drives. And then hopefully when you get to the red zone, that's where we can see Memphis's defense step up. I mean, so far, Memphis, they've been a pretty good defense. They faced some tough teams. They're coming off a big win at Florida State. Now, say what you want about Florida State's offense. Hey, you still got to show up, and they showed up there. I don't know if it translates to their offense showing up, coming off a big win, but I think their defense will be ready to go against Navy. And even if they aren't, and their defense isn't locked in, heck, a lead for Navy isn't the worst thing for us in this sort of bet because they'll just keep running even more. So they'll just be chewing the clock. And with things like that, I really like taking an under here. Memphis's offense is hit or miss. I mean, they put up 20 against Florida State last week. Other than that, they really haven't scored a ton of points here. I really think that we'll see Memphis's offense maybe a little bit slower here, and Navy's going to do their thing, run the ball, chew the clock, and I think that plays great to them. I think Navy could even win this game outright against Memphis, who could come in a little sleepwalking after a big Florida State victory. I like Navy. I like them plus the points, but I'd rather just take the under because they're covering plus the points probably because they're just chewing this clock, and we're going to see a very low-scoring game there for Navy and Memphis. So give me the under 49.5. But Logan, I need your third straight bet of the week. Where are you going for your final one?
Yeah, we're going to an SEC showdown. I like this one a lot. I'm taking Arkansas plus the points, plus 2.5 right now. If you want to sprinkle on the money line, wouldn't call you crazy at that. Probably have a few dollars on the money line myself. I think they could get a road win against Auburn in this one. Why do I like Arkansas? They're sort of a public side in this one. I'm not gonna lie. We all like Taylon Green. I mean, he's electric. We saw what he did against Oklahoma State, 648 yards. There was not a lick of defense played. Oklahoma State had no answers for him. I think he's able to go up and down on this Auburn defense. Auburn's defense is not what it used to be. It's not a strength of this team at all. And then I really think if you're comparing offense to offense, what's the identity of Auburn's offense? Because now with Peyton Thorne being benched for Hank Brown, good luck, man. You have a pretty sizable test in your first SEC game of the year against an Arkansas team that, when it comes to the run, they're 3rd best in the nation, only allowing 33 rushing yards per game. They're very stout so far on the ground. You're not going to have a lot of success there for Auburn. This is just a poor matchup in my eyes for Auburn's offense. Because yes, they worked well against New Mexico, but they really looked bad against Cal, and that was a game that they probably wanted to have being at home. This Auburn team is not good. I think if you look at Arkansas too, they're number 1 in the nation in 3rd downs. Auburn doesn't do anything with the time of possession battle, and now with a new quarterback, what's their offense even going to look like? I think Arkansas will get the outright win in this one. But again, in college football, do we take the points when offered? Yeah, we take the points in case it's a weird, wacky 2-point conversion overtime thing. I want the points in my back pocket, but a little sprinkle on the money line never hurt anyone. I like that as my third best bet of the day. Austin, it's player prop time. You want to go with yours first?
Yeah, I'll lead things off. As always, we have 2 props, one from me, one from Logan. If they hit, we're giving away $50 to one person that comments down below. Simple as that. We keep splitting. We keep going 1-1. Hopefully this is the week we are 2 and we both can go 2-0. I'm going to one that's a tad juiced on the Bucks. I'm going to Cam Ward, the Miami Hurricanes quarterback, over 2.5 passing touchdowns. If you take this as a straight bet on the books, it's about minus 140. On Underdog Fantasy, where I'll be putting it together with Logan's prop, it's about 0.9x your multiplier, so not terrible. But let's talk about Ward, who has 3 passing touchdowns over this in all 3 games this season. He'll face South Florida, the Bulls. This game has a 64.5 point total. I think the Bulls can keep this game close, so you see Cam Ward in there a lot of the time. But you've looked at South Florida, not faced a ton of high prolific offenses. The only one they faced was Jalen Milroe and the Alabama Crimson Tide. He didn't get 3 passing touchdowns. He had 2 passing, 2 rushing. Now, obviously, Cam Ward is capable of getting some rushing TDs here and there, but he's notoriously more of a passing QB. I think he could get some long ones here. I'm not a big fan of USF's offense or their defense. I think their offense can put up points too and put them up quick. I really like Cam Ward. Over 2.5 passing touchdowns is my favorite prop of the week. I'll recap my full card after Logan, but Logan, I need a prop winner from you so we can give away $50. What are you rolling with on Saturday?
Can this finally be the week? I think we can finally do it. Because I like your Cam Ward prop a lot, and I also have a quarterback prop I like, and it's going to be Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, over 213.5 passing plus rushing yards. Now, I included the rushing yards in this one because this guy is a dual threat. I mean, he does it in the air, and he does it on the ground as well. We saw what he did in that Virginia Tech game. He was Superman, and they are once again asking him to be Superman in this game on the road against a very, very good Missouri team. And through 3 games so far, Pavia completed 40 of 62 passes for 543 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's also Vanderbilt's leading rushing in both attempts and yards. He's rushed the ball 54 times, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. This guy's the dual threat. I mean, he's the definition of do it all. That's what he's going to have to do against Missouri. That I think Missouri will have no trouble against Vanderbilt moving the ball up and down the field. So it's going to be really dependent on Diego Pavia kind of doing his thing. We saw in recent past what he did when he was with New Mexico State. He got a road win at Auburn. This guy is cold-blooded. We already saw first game of the year what he did against Virginia Tech. I don't think he's going to shy at all in competition. I think this is a spotlight guy, put the country on notice, and I think he's going to go toe-to-toe, give Missouri his best shot, make the plays that he needs to make. I think that line is simply too low. I respect Missouri's defense a lot, but I think that line is too low. I like that one. Hopefully, Austin, we can cash that one. I'll do just a quick recap of my picks, then I'll throw it back to you. I had Houston plus 3.5 as my first pick. My second spread pick was Boston College minus 6.5. And then I had Arkansas plus 2.5. And also, obviously, the Diego Pavia prop I just talked about. I love my card, Austin. I'm bouncing back in a big way. Recap your card, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to build off a 3-in-1 week last week. So my full card's on the screen. It's a Tennessee, Oklahoma under 57.5. It's the Purdue Boilermakers plus 5.5 on the road. Memphis and Navy under, and then Cam Ward over 2.5 passing TDs, the QB for the Miami Hurricanes. That hopefully is an 8-0 sweep. If it's not, if we somehow full fade, whatever, let us know. If Logan full fades, let us know what you want me to make him do as a punishment in next week's video. But he ain't full fade, and he's going 4-0. He's bouncing back after a rough week. Let us know your favorite picks down below. Austin Logan signing out. If you want to check out a very similar video, but for the NFL, when we talk about all the NFL games and give out our favorite spread picks and totals there, you can definitely check it out. It'll be linked right here. Have a wonderful Saturday. Good luck on all your bets. Let's hopefully recap a very, very positive week next Thursday or Friday, whenever the video goes live. We'll see you then. Peace.